What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the first episode in the brand new MVP Learner Studio. It's beautiful, I know. So today I just want to talk about some SAT studying mistakes that I made back when I was taking this test. So my first big mistake that I made is I didn't even study for my first exam, but then get this. I didn't even study for my second exam either. So we had our first test. My mom forced me to go into school on a Saturday and take it, and then waited a couple, probably like 5 or 6 months, took it again in the March SAT that they give you for free, like during your school day. And for both tests, I studied maybe like an hour for free, both of them. And predictably, I got the same result. I got a good score just because I was good at math, I can read, but we're very lackluster for like the type of schools that I wanted to go to, you know? So I know it sounds like common sense, but please study before you take your first SAT. I know some of you might have this train of thought like, oh, I just want to get a baseline. I want to see where I'm at. No, please don't do that. The practice test, that is your baseline. You only get so many SAT attempts. They cost money. Don't go wasting it just trying to get a baseline. When you're there for that SAT, you are there for the kill. You are there to get a 1600. You're not there just to see where you're at, okay? So make sure before that first SAT, you have a pretty good grasp of all the concepts and everything, and you're going in for like a 1400 plus, a 1500. Like, go in for the kill. So after getting humbled on my second SAT attempt, I had one more shot, one more attempt to get it right. I wasn't gonna do it more than 3 times. That was just my logic, okay? You can do it more than 3 times, but after the 3rd time, that was enough SAT for me personally. So it was time to get in gear. It was time to grind. And what did I do? I did my next mistake. I mainly just grinded practice tests. And you might be like, what's wrong with that? Well, there's nothing wrong with practice tests, but that's all I did. So my advice to you guys is please learn the underlying concepts behind the SAT, and more importantly, learn the strategies and like how to cheese it. The SAT is a game, okay? Just think of it like a video game, okay? And you gotta learn like all the meta strategies and like, it's like chess. You gotta learn the openers and all that nerdy stuff. You know, it's like the same thing with the SAT. You gotta learn that SAT equivalent of like openers and things like that, okay? So if you're just doing practice tests over and over and over again, it gets kind of repetitive, and you're just doing a lot of questions that are really easy, and you don't need to be like doing it over and over and over again, okay? Practice tests, that's more for getting your timing down, things of that nature. It's not like the end all be all of SAT studying, okay? You really need to get the strats down, and you really need to get the concepts down. So you need to look at like everything that's gonna possibly be asked on the SAT. You need to make sure you have all your bases covered, okay? And yeah. So I, like many of you watching this channel, was not very good at the SAT reading section. I mean, I was good in the sense that I had a above average score, but in terms of like improving it and getting into that like high 700 range, yeah, I could not do that. I'll just be transparent. If you look at this channel, I think that's pretty obvious. I don't have a single SAT reading tutorial out there. And that's for the simple reason that I'm not qualified to be making those videos, nor do I enjoy the SAT reading section. But that leads me to my 3rd mistake that I made. While yes, I liked math a lot more growing up, and especially on the SAT, that does not mean you should neglect the reading section, which unfortunately is what I did. Like, you would think that it would be common sense to like study the reading section more, that's where you're weaker, but I just didn't like doing it, and so I would neglect the reading section. And then when I did do the reading section, the problem is I would mainly just do the practice test like I was telling you guys earlier. But the problem with that is I wouldn't even do like the whole practice test at once. I would just be doing a story here and there at a time, or like the grammar section, because I was like pretty easy. But I never learned like the underlying strategies, because like now when I make these videos and I'm doing research, like I see online that there's a bunch of strategies that you can use. Like for instance, on the reading section, certain questions are always phrased in a certain way, and there's patterns, and same thing with the grammar. There's like patterns, and like if you know the patterns, you can kind of pick out the answer even if you don't really know what's going on. And I wish I had just learned and cheesed those patterns, because I'm a smart guy. I could have definitely gotten a much better score than I did, and I really did myself a disservice by not learning the tricks of the trade on the SAT reading section. So this is kind of where I'm going to hurt my own self-interest. Like, go on YouTube, go watch some of the other SAT gurus out there for the reading section. You can watch me for math. But yeah, for the reading, go and learn like the best strategies out there, and don't just like wing it like I did. Yeah, you're leaving points on the table. So the final mistake I made was getting way too nervous for the SAT and like just poor stress management, okay? And stress management for the SAT, it doesn't just happen on the test. Like, obviously you're gonna be nervous for the SAT. It's a big test, there's no way around it. But stress management starts way before the SAT. You need to relax. Like, that's just the simple like fact of the matter. Okay, the mistake I was making was like, when I was studying for this test, this was like all I was thinking about, like 24/7. And when you do that, you're naturally gonna get very anxious for the test. Okay, like after the test, like it was so bad, like I had a nightmare about the SAT. Okay, like please, it's just a test at the end of the day. You have to like have some hobbies and do some other things in the lead up to the test. Okay, like there's a difference between being locked in and having an unhealthy obsession. So I know some of you guys are probably doom scrolling the SAT subreddit. I know, trust me, I know some of you guys are Redditors, don't lie to me. And that sort of unhealthy obsession mentality that I'm showing on screen, yeah, that's the r/SAT subreddit is the definition of that. So if you're struggling with anxiety with the test, like please stop reading this subreddit. Like it's just gonna make you depressed, okay? Like it's just full of people either dooming or trying to flex their scores on each other. It's just not a positive environment. So that's a little bonus tip. Don't go on Reddit. Well, that's pretty much it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Make sure to smash that like button down below and subscribe. It really helps the channel out a lot. I also run a tutoring company called MVP Learners, just like the channel name. In the comments, I'm going to put a link where you can register for tutoring with me, or a free consultation call if you just want to like learn how the program works and everything. My lessons one-on-one with me they're only $40, okay? So I'm a college graduate, I'm a software engineer, I am a really high SAT score, I tutor math. You're not gonna find a better rate than that. So hop on it now before it goes up. I'm telling you, hop on it now. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you guys all in future videos.